Hello, everybody. Welcome in to the Outspoken Sportscast. This is episode number 79. You got your hosts, Jeff and Brian. Sorry about that. I turned my phone on the wrong way, and that was going there. So, um, sorry about that, guys. Episode 79, and we got quite a bit of interesting show for you. We got some different topics here, some awkward topics here, awkward conversations. Jeff, say hello, buddy.
How's it going, everybody? How is it going? It's been a crazy week.
Yeah, it's been a busy week on my end. Obviously celebrating a great Green Bay win, but we'll get into that later here. Um, the spotlight of the week is it's been a hot topic for a little while with the John Gruden emails and the investigation into the Washington Redskins. Or sorry, Washington football team. I guess this was an investigation into the Redskins because at the time they were known as the Redskins. But so news broke this last week that Roger Goodell refuses to release the investigation involving sexual harassments and all the John Gruden emails. He said basically claims that he wants to keep those guys that came forward private, and he doesn't want any names to be leaked out. And Goodell quoted that Dan Snyder was held accountable and he's not going to release the findings. That's tough. To me, when you're refusing to release something, it's usually because there's a lot more that you don't want to be put out, right? You're hiding something, or it seems like you're hiding something. This report had 15 women, Jeff, that reported abuse both physically and verbally. This also includes the taking pictures of cheerleaders and videos of cheerleaders changing clothes and sitting around the organization, let alone all the John Gruden emails for a span of about 10 years. And they want us to believe that nobody else said anything in those emails. Nothing else, no one else through this whole thing is guilty of anything else, because I don't believe that, Jeff. I'm not that naive to think that something's not being covered up here. Daniel Snyder and the Washington football team, that Daniel Snyder was fined $10 million, and that's it. Is that a punishment? Is that a high enough punishment for what's gone on, what this guy has allowed to happen under his reigns of the organization of the Washington football team? I'd say no.
This is a big mess. Like, this is such a. It's not surprising, honestly, that the NFL's trying to save face in some way, shape, or form. It's just, it's kind of sad that I guess we get to a point where what's more important, right? Is it the people that are being or that are victims of this, or is it the NFL and its quote unquote, you know, uh, backers, financial backers, or
The
whatever? They
image.
don't the image that they don't want to tarnish. Which, I mean, honestly, they did the same thing with the whole you know, the concussion protocol situation, the concussion issues that were widely talked about for years. They tried to throw that under the rug. They tried to stop doing that. They tried to stop talking about it, and then they finally couldn't ignore it anymore, and so they finally started doing stuff about it. Um, and I get the same feeling from this in a lot of ways. It's like, well, let's not really. This is an isolated incident. Obviously not.
Oh,
Obviously, it is not an isolated situation. It is not an isolated event. This is a lot of information that they have. They're not giving it to the public. Why? Why aren't they doing it? And it's because they just want to save face. They don't want the NFL name tarnished. Just like Major League Baseball doesn't want their name tarnished, the NFL is the same way.
right. And it's all about image. And sadly and unfortunately, that goes along with a lot of lot of organize a lot of sports. Look at the USA Gymnastics. How long was that abuse and harassment allowed to go on to save face? Um, that's the sad thing. What's more important? Is it the people that have been abused? Is it these poor women who have been harassed and both physically um, and mentally? And what's more important? And that's the bottom line. And obviously, it's not these employees, right? They talk about in this report talking about how these employees were, basically forced to shut up about this or lose your job. So
Right.
these guys, these employees are brave enough to say, "Look, we've got to put it into this. We've got to come forward with this information." Goodell says it's keeping people's identity safe, right? And they've actually had a couple people come out and say, we came out because were told this would be an open investigation. This would be led and put out there, and then to have Goodell say no. A lot of people are actually angry and hurt by this, and because Goodell is going against what they thought would happen and what they were expecting to happen. Um, my question is, could they not have leaked this information out, right? Like put out the investigation, but keep the names anonymous. You don't have to have a source or, you know, out somebody who came forward with this information to tell the story. You can keep those names private. You can do that. So this leads me to believe that this is a cover up. Something else is going on here. $10 million to an owner of an NFL team is just a slap on the wrist. He was fired, yes, and all that stuff. But a $10 million fine is a slap on the wrist. Um, should this guy be in jail? I mean, I don't know where it goes from here. It ain't going to go any further from here. But my thing is, when you look back, and I kind of, this is kind of not the same situation, but it's kind of a little bit of the same as the Olympic gymnastics that we actually covered we covered like episode like 50 something.
Yeah.
They did a documentary about the abuse that those girls took and the sexual abuse these girls took, and Larry Nasser and his a monster of a man he is. But if that was just an article in a paper, or if that was just a accusation, we wouldn't really know the full story, right? We would be like, "Oh, that's bad," but we wouldn't be able to know the full story. I feel like they're hiding this. We don't know the full story. We know, yeah, some pictures were leaked. We know there was some emails from John Gruden that was he, we saw what he said.
Exactly.
That when you go watch the gymnastics, everything went down. This is out in the public, and I feel like that allows those other women that might have been abused by someone in the Washington organization to come forward, and just put a stop to all of this. This is something. It's a cycle, Jeff. We've seen it all the time. This happens, and it's a organization that's made billions, millions of dollars, right? That say we can't afford an image crisis now. We don't do any. They don't do anything about it. And then when it comes out 2 years, 3 years, 10 years later, um, it's really no surprise. Like you said, it's not a surprise that it's the Washington football team, and it's not a surprise that this is being covered up. And that's the sad part.
Yeah, and this isn't going to help Roger Goodell's image. People already can't stand the guy. They boo him all the time. Anytime there's a draft, that's like the
Yeah.
the thing to do. Because they don't like the direction that he takes the NFL in, and he's not a very great representation of him. I do give him some credit when when he was at least coming out and not ignoring any of the situation, regarding any of the injustice stuff, because a lot of people thought he would never ever do that. But in this situation, this was an opportunity for him to actually come out and do something like that, and come out and actually address the problem, not by ignoring it, not by covering it up, but actually talking about it. And it doesn't seem like he's doing that. And maybe at some point he will. Maybe some point he'll be forced to. He'll be forced to actually acknowledge this situation. Not the fact that it didn't happen, but how far it goes
Right. And I think that's the
is
biggest thing here is he's trying to save other people because John Gruden lost his job, which rightfully so. Um, we talked about that a couple episodes ago on the podcast of our feelings about what John Gruden said. Um, how many people are on those emails? We have no idea. There was 650,000, Jeff, if I'm not mistaken, 650,000 over a 10-year span. And I read an article that said that John Gruden is the only one in those emails that really popped off the page of like something's going on here and needs to be changed. But what else is being covered up? And look, I don't agree with cancel culture. I don't agree with any of that and trying to hunt somebody down over one thing they said. But when it comes to John Gruden over 10 years, something needs to change. Something needs to happen. Who else are in these emails? What have they said? What who else has been harassed and afraid and threatened to come out against the Washington football team? Is this going on in other organizations? Um, it it wouldn't surprise me, but I would hope not. I would hope that this and the Washington football team to me has always been a horrible run organization. There's those teams in the NFL that are that way. Like, the Lions are a horribly ran organization. They can't get success. Um, am I saying that the Lions also abuse their employees? No, definitely not. But this is just something that doesn't surprise me, and we shouldn't really be shocked about it. I'm hoping that I don't know if there can be a lawsuit to get these out to the public if they can do something. I know the Oakland's not Oakland anymore, but the Vegas Raiders owner, he wants them released. He said it. They asked him the question. He said, "Yeah, I want it to be released to the public. I want to know what's in these emails." Um, and these victims, from what I've seen, are as contradicting what Roger Goodell's saying about hiding everything, and kind of not putting it out there. But they really believed there would be a public investigation or a investigation released to the public, so everyone knew what they went through, and everyone um, knew what was going on, and that they would be kept private, and they would be kept anonymous because they probably still work there or work in the NFL somewhere. Maybe they still work there. I don't know, but
I think also is that anytime there's a court proceeding, whether it be televised or not televised or whatever, I'm pretty sure that once it's done, it's open for public record. Anybody can look it up. Anybody can look up the evidence. Anybody can ask for it. Um, so I think once the investigation's done, maybe we may know what's going on. And if it's Roger Goodell that's not going to do it, that's not going to give us the information, then it's going to be probably the fans themselves.
yeah, I don't know how that works. I do know that the Players Association president came out and said, "Yeah, he actually pushed for this. Please release these. We want to see how far this goes up, the food chain." And maybe Roger Goodell is covering for himself. Maybe he has some emails out there that don't look too good. Um, so who knows? And hopefully we get to the bottom of it eventually. I think we all deserve to know. And hopefully our accusations or us thinking there's more is puts an end. But when any situations happen, um, anytime that someone's hiding something like that or hiding something in general, why not release it? What else do you? I automatically go, what else are they hiding? What else are they trying to protect? Because if they weren't hiding anything, what's the harm of putting this out there?
I don't really understand the harm. Maybe I get the
Exactly.
victims. There's some parts with that, and I don't give their names out
Yeah.
because they don't want that, and if they don't want that, that's on them, and that's fine. And I don't think I don't think that's relevant to the issue at
No.
hand.
Good.
I
No.
think that the issue at hand is obviously the problems going on with the organizations involved. So If they can figure that out, then that would be awesome. If not, eventually it will be public record. Eventually, I'm pretty sure that's how it works. Like you can go online and look up any case that's already done and over with, and look at the information that was presented in the case. So it's something to think about.
Right.
Somebody's gonna leak this information, or the public themselves are gonna find it. Either way, the story will come out. It's whether or not it's gonna be through Goodell. Obviously, it doesn't seem like that, or it's gonna be through public service, basically.
All right, guys. Well, if you're listening to this, let us know what you think about the situation. Let us know if you think there's more going on. I think it's pretty obvious that there is here. I hope I'm wrong, and I hope the abuse is stopped there. And obviously, but go ahead, Jeff.
Oh, well, I just wanted to let everyone know. I know that we brought it up a few times, but yeah, this is the video version. If anybody's watching, obviously, we do have a video version. That's the main version here. And then if you're listening on podcast services, we kind of have graphics that pop up as we talk. So if you want to get a chance and look at the video version, you can do that too. So there's two versions of this show, and one's audio and one's video. So
Right, right. Good. Thanks for pointing that out because I know sometimes we're talking to the video and not, the podcast or whatever. But you're right. Yeah, we just started the live streaming on YouTube, so we're trying to grow the show, and live streaming is the way to go. But all right, Jeff, let's jump into the top games of Week 8. One already took place on Thursday night. The Packers and the Arizona Cardinals played, and the Packers won. We won't get too much into that because I'm going to save that for later. Number 2, Jeff. First, I had some hard times finding some extremely good games. But number 2, I got the Titans versus the Colts. And I put this one on here because the Titans and Colts always play each other pretty well. The Titans have been on fire lately. They just dismantled the Chiefs 27-3. They beat some good teams. They're 5-6-2 now, or they're 5-2. And I think this is one of those games where they falter. I think this is one of those games that they lose, and you're like, how did they lose this game? Right? They do
yeah,
that. They're inconsistent from time to time where they'll play those good games and they'll beat teams. And you're like, oh man, this team's for real. Um, I think they're going to lose this one. The Colts have been playing better. Carson Wentz has been playing a lot better. The Colts are 3-4. I think the Colts pick this one up. What do you think, Jeff?
um, I think the Colts. I agree with you. I think the Colts will probably pick this one up. It's these. It's hard to really go against Tennessee because of freaking Derrick Henry. Um,
The Colts defense, I think the Colts
yeah,
defense is really good, and I think they're going to be able to slow him down. And if you can slow him down and force Tannehill to throw the ball without the play action pass, that's when they become a little less dangerous.
I'm not a person who's trustworthy of Tannehill as more as I'm more
Yeah.
trustworthy of Derrick Henry.
Yes. And it's funny
Um,
because this is one of those teams that's opposite of what analytics stats tell you of, you know, usually, you would a good running game, um, like the quarterback benefits. What am I trying to say? Tannehill benefits way more from Derrick Henry than Derrick Henry benefits from Tannehill. Um, Derrick Henry averaging 7 yards a carry last game, I think, or the game 7 yards a carry opens up the passing lane so much. And I know play action pass helps, or the quarterback, but when you have a running back that's averaging 7 yards carry, why it's like, why would you even throw the ball when
yeah,
it's working? Analytics say to nowadays you need to throw the ball more and throw the ball, but if your running back's averaging 7 yards a carry, do that all day. That allows Tannehill to be a better quarterback because everyone has to rely on the run. Um, so without Derrick Henry, I think Tannehill struggles, but with Derrick Henry, it opens him up to look like he's a very good passer of the ball. Just don't think he is.
Yeah, the run definitely sets up the pass for that team, and it's pretty obvious. Uh, I'll go with the Colts. I think the Colts may sneak out a win, and I mean sneak out a win.
It'll
I
be a
don't
close
know.
game.
I don't
It'll be a
think it's
close
going to be a
game.
blowout. Kansas City, I'm talking to you. But yeah, I'll go with that. I think so. Um, I think Tennessee's good, but if you take away a threat and you rely on Tannehill, I don't trust that one bit.
Exactly. All right, Jeff. We got Dallas versus the Vikings. It's Sunday night football. We got Halloween going on as well. Um, I put this game on here, and that's if Dak plays, it should be a pretty good game. I actually projected the Vikings to win this game, whether Dak plays or not. I think this is one of those games that Dallas Cowboys could easily lose. They're not going to go 16-1 unless it just a miracle happens, right? Um, but I picked the Vikings to win regardless. Now, if Dak is not there, the Vikings aren't losing, or the Vikings aren't. Yeah, they're not losing. They're going to win this game. If he's there, it's going to be a close game. It's in Minnesota. They've struggled this year, but they're kind of getting back on track. We'll see what happens, but I think the Vikings win this one regardless if Dak is there or not. I could see Dallas winning, but I picked the Vikings in this one.
I pick Vikings in this one. I think this is going to be that time that maybe the Cowboys get this loss after kind of going on a streak there. Um, a lot of sports analysts are picking them over Dallas. It's
Well,
very
the
interesting. It seems odd a little bit. I'm not saying the Vikings are horrible, but it just seems odd
well,
to pick the
what's
Vikings.
interesting is Vegas and the gambling lines have dropped so far that they think Dak's going to be gone for this game, and they've
Okay.
dropped so far to the Vikings' favorite that they either have some insights that we don't. We know Dak is a game time decision; he's questionable to play, but you know, so I picked the Vikings to win before we knew he was questionable. Um, but who knows? Who
What
knows?
is standing out against the Cowboys versus Minnesota? Why is that team right now, when this team's been on fire and been whooping everyone they've come in contact with to this point after that first loss to Tampa Bay? Why now? Why in Minnesota?
For the offense, I think when you look at the Cowboys' defense, that's their weakest part, right? It's their defense, and they are. If you go look at the ranks, they're not highly ranked defense. I think they're average. Um, what jumps off the charts for their defense is turnovers, right? And when you get turnovers, that's what people notice. They notice those turnovers, and it makes your defense look a lot better than they are. I think they're going to struggle this game because you have two fantastic wide receivers in Thielen and Jefferson, who are both number ones on most teams. You got Dalvin Cook who can run the ball. You've got to account for him. You've got a decent quarterback that is Kirk Cousins. Um, Now he has a weird stat where he doesn't play well at night. I don't know what it is. When he plays night games, he does not do well. This is on the road in Minnesota. Their defense has struggled this year. They usually have a tough defense, but I think it's going to come down to um, the defense backfield for the Dallas Cowboys, and can they keep those wide receivers from going off, because it's a very hard task to do, and you know what is it? Diggs is a fantastic cornerback, but he also gives up a lot of yards, and he has a lot of interceptions, yes, but he gives up a lot of yards. And you've got two of those guys. You got Jefferson, and you got Adam Thielen, and then you have Dalvin Cook, who is versatile out of the backfield. So I think that's what really brings it here. And just playing on the road in Minnesota is tough. And I just feel like this is one that the Cowboys are going to slip up on a little bit. And um, we've noticed with the Cowboys through seasons and seasons and seasons of watching them that those plays that I think we mentioned it last week that usually would cost the Cowboys where they mess up here and they
Yeah.
mess up there. They haven't happened this season, right? Um, they haven't let that one little bad thing kind of catapult them to a loss. Um, so we'll see if that happens in this game coming up against Minnesota. But
Yeah, it's hard to go against them, but I kind of agree with you on that. And again, number one is if Dak is not in the game, I don't think this team wins
oh, that's
at all.
not
I don't even think they have a chance. So hopefully he is healthy and is ready to go, and nothing serious. They have had a bye week, so that should help. Um, so I mean, they should all be ready to
well.
go at that point, but we'll
What's
see.
interesting is that they've gone on a bye week and he's still a game time decision.
Mm.
That's what kind of pointed out to me. They had a bye. He had a rest. He was off a week, and he's still a game time decision. Now, are they just playing their cards close to the chest here? Possibly. Maybe this is just a coy. I don't know. I don't know how bad the strain was, but
I'm gonna have
um,
to say something about this. If something comes out about this, and I'm gonna say this right now because I know there's Cowboy fans that listen to this. If something comes out, and let's say he's not gonna play, or let's say he does play and he aggravates it, and they take him out of the game, and they'll lose. If they take him out of the game, or if he does not play this game at all, they are not gonna win this game. They don't have a chance to win this game.
no.
So you take Dak away from this team, and the Cowboys are average at best.
Oh, they're
You,
worse than that. They
yeah,
don't even have Andy Dalton. I mean,
right.
you can have all the weapons on the outside, but if you don't got a quarterback that can throw the ball to him, then it doesn't really
I
matter.
will say
So,
this much: if that happens, you are going to be. I think the question needs to be asked. Just like I sit there and I say the same thing about Bradley Chubb. Just like I say the same thing about, even Cortland Sutton. Sometimes, coming from a Bronco perspective, when will this team be healthy? When will Dak actually be healthy to play a full season? And he did it a couple of times, but I mean, it seems like there's always some hiccup on this team. Somebody's hurt or whatever. It just seems like it. And if this is consistent, if this keeps happening, that's troublesome down the road. I'm not talking about currently, or I'm not talking about right now at this very moment, but if he continues to get hurt, injured, tweak something, hurt his shoulder, hurt his ankle, hurt his it seems to me like there's always something going on, whether it's an injury, a tweak, unhealthiness. I don't know what it is, but if he's already tweaked something and it's serious, I think the question needs to be starting to be asked if whether or not Dak can actually stay healthy for his career. I mean,
I don't agree technically with that.
I
And
mean, it seems odd. I mean, even if you think about it, the tackle that he took didn't seem like it really was that big. I mean, it didn't seem it was. I don't know. It didn't seem like it was. It
with
seemed a
his,
little
were you talking
odd.
about the ankle that he snapped?
Not the ankle. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about the
Which
the
one?
the, the shoulder. And then at one
Oh, the
point,
shoulder.
wasn't
Yes,
there?
I
Wasn't
forget
there?
it.
There was.
Wait, I forget about the shoulder. I forget about that shoulder.
Yeah.
Oh,
You had the
I forgot about
shoulder.
the
You had
shoulder.
the ankle. Then what's the deal now?
With his calf. He strained his
Calf.
calf
Okay.
on the
So
very last play of the Patriots game
that's three. That's three things that have happened
in 2 years.
in 2 years. Now,
I forgot about the shoulder, so I will
yep,
give you that. I forgot about
we
that
had a
shoulder.
shoulder injury that happened just during preseason practice. So, uh, not I'm not saying throw the red flags up. Everybody start freaking out and screaming. Keep an eye on that though, because if it continues to happen, that's not good. Because I say this much: if your guy can't, like Bradley Chubb, I can tell you right now, if the dude keeps getting hurt, what's he worth? Nothing.
Oh yeah. Well,
He's a,
the
he's a
best
roster spot.
availability is the best
So
ability is availability.
right. So that's the thing is like you gotta maintain some kind of health. I mean, take a look at Tom Brady. When has he ever really been hurt?
Yeah, not very often.
Exactly. So that's what I mean.
Brett
Like
Favre.
Dak, Yeah,
Brett
Brett
Favre.
Favre. I mean, Dak needs to if we see another injury after this current one that has with his calf, something's wrong.
Well, they were kind of talking about is this calf strain, is this due to his ankle? Because when you have an ankle that gets hurt or you have a shoulder that gets you find yourself your body overcompensating in other areas, so you're not putting all that pressure on your that injured foot or that the mentally you kind of do that naturally. So they I think they asked Dak. I think he said it kind of did play into effect of that calf strain, and so it's interesting. Look, if the Dallas Cowboys don't have Dak, they don't win. Just like if Aaron Rodgers doesn't play for Green Bay, he gets hurt, we don't win. It's just
So
that
the
simple.
question
But
that I ask is sit Dak and make sure he's healthy, or play Dak just to try to have a win and
well, that's the thing too.
potentially hurt
Mhm.
him more,
Right,
is the question. And honestly, if I had it, if I was a fan of the Cowboys, if I was, an avid fan like their fan base is, I would say no, sit him,
right. This
because
is
I
a
would look at it
game.
and like it doesn't really matter.
Mhm.
This is a BS game. We're gonna win the division, so there's no worry there. So whatever, sit him out, and if we win, great. If we don't, who cares? We have him healthy and he's ready to go the following week. So
Right, and that's been the talk on the radio stations here in DFW. And that's a very good point. I'd probably sit him, and I think they might just do that. Dak said if it's up to him, he would be out there today, but
well,
it's
yeah,
not
he's
it's
that
not
kind of
up to
player.
him.
He's not
Yeah.
gonna.
So look, this is you have 3 games up on your division. It's still early in the season. I'd sit him out and start him next week. This isn't something that matters. This isn't like you're playing a you might be playing a playoff team. The Vikings might make it, but this doesn't really matter. It doesn't really matter right
Yeah.
now, and that's a good point. I would probably sit him too. But
And this is also coming from, Brian, obviously you can tell is a Green Bay fan. So if anybody wants the Vikings to lose, it's Brian.
yes,
But he
definitely
does understand that the Cowboys, you need to kind of think a little bit more realistically. And if it makes it better for Dak to sit one more week out, then who cares?
right.
Like,
And they've this division's on lock. They've already got
yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. It's not even a
It doesn't.
question.
The other teams have
So,
been
I mean,
so bad, but
obviously, I will say I'll go with the Vikings just with the notion that it's very possible that Dak is not in this game.
and that's the funny thing. Before they really, I mean, before they've kind of said that he's a game time division, the Vegas odds has dropped so far in the
Yeah.
Vikings' way that they know something is up. But and the only other game I could find was the Bucks versus Saints, and not that I think this is going to be a close game. I think the Bucks will win this game easily, but it's the Winston revenge game, Jeff. He got booted from there from Tampa Bay, went to the Saints, and now he gets to go and play his former team. And that's the only reason this is on here. I think the Bucks win this one easily, though.
Yeah. There's this doesn't even make any sense. The Bucks are a lot.
Yeah, a lot better.
Oh, oh yeah. They don't have Drew Brees. We're not getting Brady and Brees.
Those were some fun
Uh,
matchups last year, but
I don't know what number it would be at this point, but we're not getting that. So no, you can't go against the Bucks. I don't trust the Saints. I'm going Bucks on this one. I don't know who the heck wouldn't. So yeah, it's Bucks on this one, in my opinion.
all right, Jeff, let's wrap that up and we'll go jump into the headlines of the week here. We got a couple for you, and I went ahead and I deleted one of those because we just got through talking about it. It was the Dak Prescott situation for Dallas. So we've already kind of went over that. But
Wait, wait,
there's
wait,
been
wait, 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 wait. But we didn't talk about Green Bay
a
pulling up
okay. Okay.
and pulling up an upset.
I
I'm gonna get rid of this headline. Okay, we're gonna go back to that because obviously we
okay.
skipped it, and we
Well,
shouldn't. We shouldn't have skipped it.
now we skipped it because it is at the bottom of the headlines.
Oh, do you want to talk
But
about it now, or do you want to talk about it later?
we can talk about it now. I've been
All
dying to
right.
talk
Okay.
about
Let's
this.
let's talk about it.
Been dying to talk about this game. And look, I projected us to lose this game, like most everybody else. We, I mean, if we went in full strength, I would have more confidence. We went in without our 3 starting wide receivers. How do you expect to win this game? And it was crazy. It was back and forth. We dominated in the first half pretty much. They fought back and came back, and this is one of the craziest endings in a game. Green Bay gets up 24-21. We our defense is looking really good. We get all the way down to try and score a touchdown, Jeff, to put it away. That nail in the coffin. We get to first and goal from like our 5, and we can't get in. We can't get in. Aaron Rodgers was stopped. Aaron Jones was stopped. I'm like, my gosh, they turned the ball over on downs. And here goes Cardinals. Murray's driving down the field to try and win the game. And they would have won this game if their wide receiver just turned around. Murray made a great pass. They drove down the field. We defense couldn't stop them. They were just on fire, driving down the field. They get to maybe their 8-yard line and 12 seconds on the clock. We bring an all-out blitz. It was like zero blitz. Murray makes the right pass. It was one-on-one to the outside. And if their wide receiver turns around, he's probably catching the ball. He doesn't turn around. He goes to like he's going to block almost, and our cornerback picks the ball off and seals the victory. Edge of the seat, crazy game. Aaron Rodgers he only threw for 180 yards. Our defense kept Kyle Murray from a touchdown. He didn't rush for a touchdown. He didn't throw for a touchdown. This was a big win for us. And other people might throw it off, say, "Oh, this is the Cardinals. They're overrated. They're not as good as we think they are." Look, they were undefeated. Okay, they were playing well all season. This is big for me because the way we did it. We went into Arizona with literally no Adams, no Lazard, no MVS. Those are our 3 starting wide receivers. We had backup wide receivers. LaFleur had to come up with a completely different game plan. Okay, we can't come out here and throw the ball a lot, right? We can't come out here and throw the ball like we usually do. We changed the game plan up. We ran the ball with Dylan. We pounded the ball. We threw the ball to Aaron Jones out of the backfield. We threw the ball to our tight ends. We had multiple tight end sets. We did things differently. I like that. Finding different ways to win. Look, Aaron Rodgers doesn't have to come out here and throw 500 yards a game to win. And I like that about this team. They have different ways they can beat you. We lost one key player in this game. Robert Tonyan tore his ACL. He's out for the season. We had a rookie running back on kickoff return, tore his ACL, out for the season. Tanyan's the bigger loss in this one, but he had a fantastic year last year. This season has been hit or miss with him, but we're finding ways to win, and we're finding ways to win with our defense. That's another thing. Our defense played fantastic. We've been depleted in the backfield. Kevin King out, Alexander out, which hopefully he'll be back soon. We don't have Zadarius Smith. He's been out, which he said on Twitter the other day. It's good to be back this week to practice with my brother. So he's teasing a comeback. We are winning when we're not fully staffed with our starters. Always fantastic because you're like, well, we're only going to get better when it happens. And I got to give kudos to Joe Barry. Now, he did have COVID. He wasn't there. Joe Barry, I criticized them hiring him this season for the Green Bay Packers. I didn't like his resume. It looked like crap. We are playing at a high level of defense. We're in the top 10 right now. Okay, I would not have believed that we were. We're in the top 10 defenses. We're in the top 10 in offenses. This team's looking really good. Our defense is playing really well with missing key players. So I hope this team can keep it up. We look really good. And last year I thought this team was going to win the Super Bowl. We started the way not from the beginning of the year. I didn't, but as we went on, we averaged.
Don't get it wrong, people. He wasn't becoming a Cowboy fan. Come on.
We averaged the most points in the NFL per game. 38. It was 38. We averaged like some 38 points, I think it was. We averaged the most points. Our offense was on fire. And I said, this is it. We're going to win it all. And we end up losing to the Bucks again in the NFC Championship game. And I have buddies tell me that they see this team, and they're Packer fans, maybe a little bias. But they said, my buddy texted me, said, this is before they beat the Cardinals. He says, I don't know what it is about this team, but I feel like this team can win a championship. And I'm like, I don't know. We'll see, But what we just did and the way we've been winning and just finding different ways to win and finding ways to win when Aaron Rodgers throws the ball for 180 yards is fantastic victory for us. And we're going to hold our heads up high. I went into work on Friday with a big smile on my face. Nothing could bring me down. It was a great day. It's a great day.
But you do know that there's a season-ending injury for Aaron Rodgers. No, I'm kidding.
No, don't even.
Nothing can bring me down.
Don't even know. Yeah,
Uh,
he tore his ACL.
no.
No, if
Oh,
that happens, we're done. But um, I've there's been a rumor, Jeff, and I don't have a source. I didn't read it
who's your
myself.
source, Brian? Give him up.
He's yeah. Um, he said, now this is totally just probably, I don't know. He said he's read somewhere in an article recently that Green Bay is working on a contract extension for Aaron Rodgers for the next 4 years. But I asked him what article. He said he couldn't remember. I can't find anything on it, so I doubt it's true.
Yeah.
But
I
look,
mean, I'm sure Adam Schefter would have already been on top of that at this point. So
I'm wanting Aaron Rodgers to be in Green Bay until his arm falls off.
that's
But a little
a little
gruesome,
odd.
a
A
little
little
odd.
gruesome, yeah.
But I
He
want him.
throws the ball and his arm comes off. Like
I looked at my wife and I said, if that's true, we win in one more, baby. We win in one more. You give him 4 more years here, we win in one more. But whatever.
we'll
Look,
see. I don't. It did not seem like in that press conference that he was looking forward to doing another stint outside of the one he's already doing. But
well, they asked about
you
it, and
don't
he
put
said,
ownership on blast. You don't put certain
"Hey,
players, certain things on blast.
that was 8 weeks. That was what 9-10 weeks ago.
Uh,
That was after. That was before all this winning.
nothing's
You know,
changing.
you know what? You know what changes things? Winning. All right.
Um,
So that makes
I don't know.
everything a little bit happier, and I totally agree with that. Now, am I saying all the problems fixed? Not overnight, but they did ask him the other day, and he said he's having the time of his life, and he's having really fun. He's got
Oh, he loves to
his
play the game,
his best friend back in Randall Cobb, who
right?
I'm gonna tell this right now, okay, to YouTube, to everybody. I'm gonna eat some crow here, and this is because I own up when I'm wrong. I killed them getting Randall Cobb back. I said, why are we getting a guy that's old or older? He's 31. He's older for his position. Okay. We just drafted a slot wide receiver who was really good at Clemson. We're taking up those snaps that this guy could be learning. He's injury prone. This doesn't make sense from a general manager point of view. But I got to eat crow. This guy's playing fantastic. He had our 2 touchdowns in this game against Arizona. I got to eat crow. I was wrong, and I'll own up when I'm wrong. So if you guys on the chat want to call me out or whatever, I was wrong about Randall Cobb, and I'm glad we got him. So, and then it makes Rodgers look like a genius because he's the one that forced them to go get him. And Randall Cobb still has stuff left in the tank. I'm wrong. I said it here. What else can I say? But
Yeah, I look at it this way, from a different perspective. This is another team that is going to be in the mix towards the end for the NFC. Obviously, I think a lot of people were kind of sleeping on the Packers because of all these other teams. Obviously, you had Cardinals. Obviously, you had the Rams. Obviously, you have Tampa Bay, and those were the teams people were talking about. I would even say more than Green Bay, mainly because as much as Green Bay has been a successful franchise, obviously, there are certain aspects to it that they seem to not get over the hump.
oh yeah,
Like,
that's
and
the Aaron Rodgers. That's what he's going to be labeled with, right, for the rest
And
of.
I will say this much: the same thing was labeled with Peyton Manning as well. And we saw how that worked out. He ended up winning and left, or not left, but he ended up winning and retiring, which is how you want to go out. Um, so it's interesting. I don't know. I think Aaron Rodgers is having time of his life because he likes playing the game. Because he likes his teammates, because he likes the players, and he likes his coach. But I think he still has issues with going on upstairs, and it isn't going to change. So
Speaking of the coach, I got to give shout out to Matt LaFleur. I love everything he's been doing. Fantastic play calls. He's become the first coach with the best winning percentage through 40 starts of a new team. He's 33-7. He after that win, his winning percentage became the highest coach to have the best winning percentage within 40 games of starting coaching a new team. So that's fantastic for him. Things he's doing here is fantastic. Aaron Rodgers and him seem to really get along and like each other.
mhm.
So that bodes well for us. I don't know Aaron Rodgers' future. I've said before he ends up in Denver next year. I hope he stays at Green Bay. I want him
I
to.
think it's absolutely impossible to know what's going on in Aaron Rodgers' head.
Oh yeah.
And
Well,
I think if anybody starts to try to like think that they know because well he's winning on the field, yeah, but at the end of the season it doesn't really matter anymore. It really matters what's going on in his head at that moment,
and a lot of
and
I
he's a
think
cryptic person, so he's not going to really
yeah,
say a lot. And I'm surprised he said stuff about the organization in that press conference personally.
he's never
But
done that, and
right,
he just came out and was like, "Screw it. What else do I have? What else do I have
yeah,
to lose?" And I think some people have written this off because they think or not written this off. I think it goes for two different reasons, and that one, um, and this may come off me being cocky or whatever you want to call it or bias. We're always there in the end in the mix, right? So it's
hmm
just like Green Bay's there, and they're going to be there, whatever. The other part is a lot of people thought the drama over the offseason would rip
would
this
carry.
locker room apart,
Yeah.
and that I had my own reservations about that. I thought that could definitely split the locker room. When you have a split locker room, you're not going to win. But it seems like that's just out the window right now, and they're focusing on winning and playing to
I
the
never
best of
really
their
thought that
abilities.
was the case. I never thought that was the case because I think that he's got a good rapport with the players. I don't think he's going to ever have issues with the players. I think he's going to have issues with maybe some of the coaching staff, maybe obviously not the head coach, but maybe some of the coaching staff, and obviously he has a huge issue with the guy who's running the organization itself, or the board that's running the organization itself. So yeah, I think the players were always going to be always going to be on Rodgers' side and being the best that they could be because they know he makes them better as well. And he's also obviously the captain. That didn't just come out of nowhere. A lot of those guys started play their most of, if not their entire career with him. And they grew up. Some of them probably grew up watching him play. So this is, they're not gonna. I don't think they're gonna turn their back on him. And I never thought that, but stuff that's going on deep in the organization is difficult to change. And the only thing that really changes that is either obviously a mindset change, which is if it hasn't happened at this point, it probably won't, or an actual overhaul of people that's running the organization itself,
Right.
which is hard to do.
And that's not gonna happen.
Right.
Um, that's not gonna happen.
So
We would
this victory that they had over the Cardinals says so many things. It's another team for the Cowboys to worry about. It's another team that they're going to probably have to face in the playoffs. On top of that, I know a lot of people probably were just ignoring Green Bay, and I know maybe even the Cowboy fans thought they could beat this team. But the fact that they were able to beat the Cardinals the way they did, and the Cardinals had a chance to win, and the Green Bay Packers didn't have much going on in terms of health on the field itself, that's scary. If I was a Cowboy fan looking at the NFC, I'm like, the NFC is a scary place. I would not want to be in that at all because it's so many what ifs. Any one of these teams can completely own you, and I think if not at this point, we probably would even make the notion that maybe even the Cowboys are fifth on this list of the top 5 teams in the NFC, or maybe even fourth.
oh, definitely. And you look at the NFC, we could basically just draw up the playoff picture right now. because it's looking like those teams. We have what 5 teams that are 5-1, which
Hmm.
is insane. It's getting stronger and stronger each week. We'll see. We'll see at the end of the year. But I would bet the playoffs end up kind of like what they're looking right now. So, and you only get one bye. You only have one. The number one seed's the only one that gets the bye. So, um, that's something I don't like. I like to buy for the second team, but it is what it is. Let's go ahead and jump on into the next one, Jeff. Here, we got a couple trade rumors this week. We have one was after the Panthers' abysmal loss to the Giants. Whew, that's bad. Lose to the Giants. They benched Sam Darnold in this, and the rumor was after that they were all in on Deshaun Watson. They came out and declined it. Um, I mean, what else? This is another team. It's like, what else? What else do you have to lose? Um, this team was playing really well. This team was playing. They were what? They were 3-0, and then it seemed like the wheels fell off the wagon. They've lost every game since. Sam Darnold's gone from looking like he resurrected his career to looking like he's playing for the New York Jets all over again. This defense has been fantastic and playing really good. They've got a couple of injuries there, and it kind of seems like they've kind of depleted. So the loss to the Giants basically told me Sam Darnold's not the guy anymore. He's not the guy the way he's been playing. I'm ready to throw the white flag in on him. Um, what else do they have to lose in Carolina? I don't get it. Maybe they don't think they're there yet to be a Super Bowl contender, because that would be like I'm getting Deshaun Watson. We're gonna win, kind of a win now type of move. Um, but benching Sam Darnold looked really bad, and they lost. They only put up 3 points. They lost to the Giants 25-3. So horrible loss. Um, I don't know what they're thinking there. I don't know what they're thinking in Carolina. They declined the rumor, of course. Then I saw something that another rumor that they're back in on trying to get Deshaun. I don't know, but
Um, this was a thing we talked about at the beginning of the season. I think it was we had mentioned something about maybe this is Sam Darnold's time
mhm.
to shine, to maybe it was just a change of scenery, change of environment, change of coaching staff. That was the problem. Maybe that's not the case anymore. Maybe we need to understand that this is another casualty of a draft bust or a draft piece that didn't pan out the way everyone thought he would. Not to say he would be a good backup or just a good stopgap for a team to have a quarterback in some way, shape, or form just to kind of get them over the mark so they get another quarterback or trade or whatever. But I think we need to kind of come to grips with that at this point. So
Yeah.
it's tough to do that because it's like this is a guy obviously he loves the game and any draft any player in this league is they grow up wanting to be a part of it and play at the best of their ability and be in the Super Bowl and be in the playoffs and it doesn't seem like this is the kind of player that people thought coming out of the draft was going to do something special and
I think it's kind of like Matthew Stafford, right? Except we knew Matthew Stafford was good, but people gave him the benefit of the doubt of never actually winning things because of the organization he came from. I think that's what we do with the New York Jets quarterbacks, right? Sam Darnold was New York Jets. Maybe they ruined him. We'll give him over to Carolina, and it seems like he is almost, like done. Maybe a backup somewhere later on down the road. Zach Wilson started with the Jets this year, and he's looked abysmal. He's looked lost. He's looked completely lost on the field. So, people will probably give him the benefit of the doubt just because of that organization. But and I was one that said I'm not ready to throw the towel in on Sam Darnold because he's young and playing for the Jets. But I think it's time to throw the towel in. Another trade, Jeff, that said will happen. Deshaun Jackson and the Rams have agreed to make a trade before the deadline. My question's why? Why? Your team's 5-1. Does he mad about his playing time? I don't understand. Now Deshaun Jackson is a wide receiver that's fast. He's older, and I think that's maybe why he's not getting as much playing time because he's older. But I'll take him in Green Bay. I'll take him. We'll trade you Kevin King for him or whatever you want. Not whatever you want, obviously, but
Aaron Rodgers.
make a trade. We'll make a trade for him. But he's a guy that's fast. He adds veteran leadership to the team. Our deep threat is MVS. He's fast, but he's been hurt all year. So I'll take him. But I had questions: why would he want out of the Rams and he wants to go to a Super Bowl contender? Well, you're leaving a Super Bowl contender. My question and my thought is it has to be over playing time. I don't see what else it could be.
It could be. Um, who knows? This seems odd. It seems like why would you leave an organization that you know is going to be in the mix at the end to possibly win and not only win, get to the Super Bowl, uh, but be in the playoffs, get to the Super Bowl, and possibly even win one. So seems odd, but but if there is a trade to be made, I'm sure it's possible. I mean, I one thing that comes to mind is I would even say maybe um maybe the Cowboys get into this in some way to kind of help the defense. I don't know who else would want to be doing a trade right now. To do what per se? Like the Tampa Bay has a good defense already. I don't know what they would be willing to
Hold on,
give
Jeff.
up.
Deshaun Jackson's a wide receiver, so
Oh,
you're
sorry.
looking for you're looking for offensive help.
So offensive power, no. Cowboys, no.
No.
Then I would say
I'd say, I
I
mean,
don't even know.
you
It's
could
a
look at
think about it.
Arizona to give him one more kind of threat there, but
Uh,
and
they
DeAndre
already have.
Hopkins has been
They're
hurt.
already stacked though.
But DeAndre
Like
Hopkins has been hurt. He did play a little bit against Green Bay, but yeah, I don't know where he would send him. I mean, Baltimore's one you could go to over
Oakland,
in the AFC. Oakland, you
I would
don't.
say, yeah, I could see
Oakland,
Oakland. I could
you
see
could
Oakland
you could
because I
see
mean
Baltimore too.
Oakland's not a bad team. They at this point they're winning the division. Like the way they're playing, it's if Kansas City can't stop.
Well, I would give the division to the Chargers over Oakland. Sorry, we
I
keep
don't
saying
know.
Oakland. It's not Oakland anymore, Jeff.
Oh,
It's the Vegas
sorry.
Raiders.
Oh, Las Vegas.
Blasphemy, Jeff. How dare you
Um.
speak the Redskins name in this podcast?
Oh gosh.
Oh, speaking of that, Jeff. Speaking of inappropriate content, the question was brought up this week when the Atlanta Braves take it on the Astros in the World Series. Is the chop appropriate? The Atlanta Braves chop, the chop where they whatever. Okay, is it appropriate? I'm gonna let you start with this one.
I can't stand the Braves, so heck no, I'm kidding. It's appropriate. It's not appropriate. No, I don't know. It's fan interaction. Is the wave inappropriate? Is the Macarena inappropriate? Is is playing is it, it's like I don't know. It's
I think
fan
it's
interaction.
dumb.
Like it doesn't. It's only for them. It's not like this is a thing going across the entire
Well, the thing is they're like, we should ban the chop. How are you going to stop a crowd from doing the chop? You're going to throw
arrest
30 some odd
all of
thousand
them.
people out of the stadium.
Arrest them
The chop,
all.
the chop is not
I don't
whatever
know.
you want to call them.
I don't think that's gonna
I'm.
happen. It's
It's
kind of ridiculous. It's
yeah,
up to the fans to do it, and it's fan interaction. It's not like you can't stop them
and
from
this is
doing the
brought
wave.
up. This is brought
Even
up.
though even though I will say this much, I don't like the wave. I think it's silly. I think it seems
It's
ridiculous.
dumb. It's.
I
I
think
mean,
it's
it's
a I think it's ridiculous. I think it's silly. But if you want to do the wave, who cares? I won't
right.
do the wave, but whatever. It's up to you.
Right. No, I agree, and it's just what, and it's now this is brought up by an Astros fan. He had a sign that said, "Stop the chop is racist." How about we get rid of trash cans? Okay, Astro fans. How about we get rid of trash cans?
Yes.
Um, all
They
right,
got rid
Jeff.
of glass beer bottles, I remember that,
Yeah.
and,
Oh,
because you can thank the Browns for that one.
yeah.
Um,
Yeah. All right, Jeff. Well, our last story here was going to be the Packers, but we already talked about that. Our last story is a little bit of hockey, Jeff. And you're like, hockey? We don't talk hockey on the show usually, but this is not more about hockey. It's about um, the Chicago Blackhawks scandal. The Chicago Blackhawks are in hot water after a former coach sexually assaulted Kyle Beach. At the time, Kyle was 20 years old. He's a player just brought up from the minors to play. And I don't think he was a coach. I think he was their film guy. He was their film guy, I believe. But um, another one of those stories. Team hides something and hides it away during their championship run. Kyle was brave enough to bring up this to management, and even Jeff, this is what gets me. He even brought this up to the Hockey's Players Association, and nothing was done. Nothing. The association that's their job. If your team is so crappy that they don't care about you, okay, that you go to the association that's supposed to protect their players, and they do nothing. Nothing. This is a story, okay? It was in 2010. The team was going through a championship run, and the team, I guess, said, "We don't want no bad publicity. We don't care. This kid's 20. Who is this kid? Whatever." This is one of those stories again where I'm going, my gosh, do people not have a moral code? Do people not care about do they only care about making money? Do they only care about image? Do they not care about other human beings? I don't get it. I don't get it. This should have been this should have been easy. This should have been, oh, this guy's fired. Oh, well, first of all, an investigation, fire the guy, give Kyle all the mental help he needs for psychology, whatever it takes to get over this and get him back on the team. Kyle now plays hockey overseas. He's 31 years old, I believe now, or 30 years old. And the Blackhawks, after this came out now, they want the film guy's name off the Stanley Cup and all that. Who cares now? That doesn't matter. Okay, that does not matter. You can say you're sorry. Doesn't matter. You didn't stand up for your player, um, your coaches, your organization, your owner, management, the players association, and this is just another one of those stories that we talked about earlier. It
I
gets
mean,
swept under the rug.
I think the other big story, a part of this is, and you brought it up, obviously, but this says a lot about the Hockey Player Association.
Oh yeah, big time.
And if they were ignoring this in this point, I mean, what what makes you say that it was ignored on another team somewhere else? You know,
If this was
it,
the if this was the NBA association for the players, oh
mhm.
man, it'd be a different story. If
Oh
this
yeah.
was,
If this was the NFL, it would be a totally you would it would be everywhere.
Mhm.
And honestly, at this point, it's like whoever is in charge of the Hockey Player Association, that dude's still there. Get him out.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he is. That was just 10 years ago, but
He
or
might
this
be. He
2010.
might
He
be. I
he
mean,
might be.
I know. In other sports, those guys can last a long time. So if that's the case, he's out. Then get him out. And I think there needs to be a thorough investigation into the Hockey Players Association and to see if any more players has happened to. They did address it through the Hockey's Players Association, and they completely swept it under the rug.
Mhm.
Something tells me this isn't the first time.
Right.
So uh, at all. So this is disgusting, ridiculous. The Hockey Players Association should be ashamed of themselves. The Blackhawks organization should obviously be ashamed of themselves as well. And obviously, it's a former coach. He's not there anymore. And hopefully, just hopefully, that person isn't coaching anywhere else.
He's actually arrested for sexually assaulting a minor, and he's
Well,
in jail now.
there you go.
So, and
Karma came back to bite him. That's for sure.
yeah, and if the Blackhawks did something about this in 2010, maybe that guy isn't groping little kids. maybe he got charges and was in jail for that over,
Mhm.
you know,
Unfortunately, it took another victim to get him in trouble when you could
right,
have ended this 20 years ago, 10
right,
years ago, and you wouldn't be dealing with this, and there wouldn't have been another victim that had to obviously get hurt in order for the person to actually go to jail. This guy should have been in jail a long time ago.
correct. And it's one of those stories that you hear nowadays that it's become so normal that, you know, you feel sick as because you probably, like normal people, have morals, and you feel bad for the people involved, but it's just one of those things where it's so normal now that um it's just it happens, and that's the sad part.
Yeah.
Well, this is kind of a sad, little depressing podcast show, but you know, look, nothing bringing me down after that win on Thursday night with the Cardinals, Jeff. Let me ask you that final question we got for you, Jeff. And for you guys that don't know, let me kind of describe it. So at the end of each podcast, we ask each other what's in our locker, and we kind of give you a little personal view of what we're doing that week or what we've been following that week or how our week's going. So I'm gonna ask Jeff there, and he's gonna tell us. Jeff, what's in your locker, buddy?
Uh, so this week, just work, work, work. We've been real busy there, gearing up for our Thanksgiving trip. So we're just kind of laying low, kind of just doing some stuff at the house. Yesterday we went to an arcade, so that was kind of fun, and played some. Just they had a bunch of games. We played some basketball, Connect Four thing, and then played air hockey, which is like that's my air hockey's my game. It's like it still never gets old. Um, and then played some Mario Kart and stuff like that. They had like an arcade of that, so we had fun. And and I think well, and work actually had a little get together on Friday, and we went and played putt putt. So I worked part of the day, and then the rest half of the day, everybody went to a local putt putt place, and so we played a couple rounds, I think. So that was pretty cool. Um, and then pretty much we've just been chilling out. We've watched some shows. We're kind of just waiting because December is kind of when our some of our shows December, and some of them for next this coming month. So Tiger King season 2.
Yes,
Oh man,
yes, can't wait
I
for
want
that.
to see. I got to see more of that. And then obviously in December we're gonna get some of the Witcher stuff. So, but yeah, just been that. I've been playing a lot of MLB The Show, Road to the Show. It made me a two-way player. I don't know if that's by default or something. So it made me a two-way player, which is kind of cool. So been pitching. I do really well pitching wise, and I've been doing well hitting. So which is kind of interesting. So I'm kind of doing well on both. But it's pretty cool how they have like a podcast in between uh the games that kind of randomly come up that talk about your player. It's pretty cool. I like that. I've been playing some of that. I played a little bit of the Ubisoft. It's like Riders Republic. It's kind of like this adventure outdoors thing. You can ride bikes, you can ride snowboards, you can um I think have like a jetpack, you can do hang gliding, you can it's like and it's all outdoors in various parks all around the world, so the country. So I played a little bit of that trial. They had a trial or whatever version of that, and I played a little bit. It was all right. It seems like more fun with friends than just by yourself. If you're just playing by yourself, it's kind of like, eh. But it seems more fun with like playing with like a few people or whatever online. Um, Outside of that, I think I watched the PlayStation State of Play. They announced a few cool games that I was kind of looking forward to. A lot of people got mad about it because they didn't talk about anything crazy. Um, which I guess every time Sony does a live stream, they have to talk
Yeah.
about a million insane games,
They
which is
they
nuts.
need to bring out more PlayStation 5s. I need one, buddy. I'm I'm
There
begging over here.
you gotta look at
Begging.
restocks, man. Restocks on Twitter. They'll kind of give you a heads up. But yeah, that's kind of crazy. It seems like Black Friday, you're gonna see more. I think they're gonna unleash a stock on Black
So I'm gonna
Friday.
go out and fight some people.
It probably might. Uh, but yeah, like it's kind of I watched a little bit of that, and there was one actually. There was a kart racing game that kind of looked like Mario Kart, but it kind of looked like just another version of that. Obviously, it doesn't have Mario in it, but it just seems kind of cool. I like little kart games like that. You can customize stuff and things like that. And then, but yeah, I mean, other than that, just playing some MLB The Show, getting obsessed with Road to the Show again. I haven't gotten obsessed with Road to the Show in a long time, so this is kind of cool. I'm starting to like. I like the two-way player thing. I think that's kind of cool. So yeah. Other than that, Road to the Show, watch some stuff, work, getting ready for Thanksgiving, getting ready to come back to Texas for a few 4 days or so, to see some family. And that's kind of it. What's in your locker, Brian?
Nice, man. Well, yeah. Well, one, when the road to the show, it makes you a two-way player, I think, and you have the options to interact and not make it a two-way player. But I do like that option. I surprisingly did better at pitching. Um, when I first got that game, MLB The Show, I got obsessed with it. I'd have to come home and play a game a day, man. Let me get my game of the season. It's a great game.
Road to the Show is addicting because you can sim.
Yeah,
That's the thing. Like you can sim, you can fly through like a month in no time.
yeah. Like I started playing. I just did season, and I did a season with like 3 different teams. So it took a while to get through. I don't even think I finished the season yet. But my week this week has been hectic, to say the least. We've been because we're doing the podcast. Usually we do it on Friday, but we had to do it this week on Saturday now. Um, I'm kind of the new trainer for work. We had the trainer at work. He's been there for a long time. He ended up quitting, and I've been a swing driver now for 5 months, where I basically cover routes for people who go on vacation and stuff, and it's a lot more work and it's a lot more stress, but it came with a good pay raise, and now I did my first training last week. I trained a guy on a route, so um, I'm running a route this week that I've never ran before, and that's very stressful. And I got a GPS every stop because I've never been there before. It's stressful. So I got that to look forward this coming week. And I did it. I actually ran that route on Friday, and it was a lot of pain in the butt. But I'm not looking forward to that one bit. Other than that, man, we carved pumpkins tonight with the girls. We've been getting ready for the Halloween. We're going trick or treating tomorrow night. The girls got their costumes. They've been dying to wear those, and we went out and we actually dropped about $300 on Halloween costumes, man. I was like $300. Oh my gosh. We
Good
didn't
lord.
we didn't go to Walmart. We usually just go to Walmart and find some rinky dink little thing. But we went to I got a bonus from work, and I was like, let's go to the Spirits Halloween store. And
Oh
yeah, it
gosh.
ended up being $300. I was like,
You can go
oh
down the
my
rabbit hole in that
gosh,
place.
dude. Because they got the jacket and they got the vest and then they got the makeup and then they got the gloves, and then I'm just like, my gosh. But the material is a lot better than your Walmart where you go and get $20, you get a little bit of everything, or $30, whatever.
It's like an all-in-one pack or something.
Yeah. The,
Yeah.
the material, when Annabelle pulled out her Elsa dress, I was like, this is actually good. This is gonna last a while. So
Yes, next
um
year you're Elsa.
yeah, so we're looking forward to that tomorrow night. The weather's been fantastic, man. We've been in the 70s, so the lows have been in the 40s, 50. Actually, the lows have been in the 50s. Next week, though, the cold front comes in. We're going to get into the 50s and the high for the high here. So that's going to feel pretty dang good. Other than that, we had a community garage sale today, and we made out pretty good. We surprisingly sold quite a bit of stuff, and so other than that, man, it's been work, work, work. I've been putting in about 12 hours a day, and so But yeah, actually, we've been watching Squid Games, and we've got to finish the last episode tonight. I know we're like 5 months behind, but when you have kids and you can't watch, um, you can't watch that show in front of the kids. Obviously, if you ever seen one episode, you know you can't watch it in front of the kids.
Well, you could, but
Oh, it's not recommended. I'm just
you'd
gonna
have
say
to
that.
explain a few things.
It's not recommended. And then I work an odd job where I'm go to bed usually at 7 p.m. and I'm up at 2 in the morning. So I don't get that nighttime with the wife where we're watching the shows and kids are in bed. So we have Saturday nights where we put the kids to bed and we stay up and watch our show together. And so we got to finish that tonight. I love that show so far. I think it's fantastic. It's right up mine your alley there, Jeff.
Mhm.
You've watched it? You've already seen it, right?
Yeah,
So I've heard there's a setup for a second one. So that's what I've got in my locker this week, man.
that's awesome. Yeah, have you seen a show called You also?
No, is it on? What is it on? Netflix or?
Netflix. Netflix.
Mm-mm, I haven't watched it yet.
You should watch it.
Is it
Can't
good?
watch it with kids.
So it'll take me a month to get through 4 episodes or so.
Probably,
That's
but I
it's
will say this much: the season 3 just ended.
oh okay. We'll just have to binge
So
it.
now we do know that there's going to be another season. So you do have some time to kind of get through it before the next one happens, because I'm sure we won't get that for at least a year and a half or two. But yeah, it's so good. It's so addicting. It's so good. You would absolutely love it because it's twists and turns, and it's insane. You is the most surprising show I've ever seen because I wasn't expecting it. It was
Yeah.
it was it was given to the idea the suggestion was given to us by like a family friend, and we were like, "This is gonna be crap." You know, like, we were like, "Oh,
This is gonna suck.
this is gonna be one of those shows we're gonna laugh at. What is this? Some kind of drama, or whatever." And so we were like, "This is gonna be a joke." So we thought about it that way because we watch a lot of junk on Netflix. Half the time we're just razzing the heck out of it, and so we're it's like social commentary. We're just completely trashing it, and so like we thought it was gonna be like that, and then we watched the first episode and we're like, "What?"
Nice.
And so
Not.
we're like, "Let's watch another one," and we
I'll have
just
to
kept.
check that out.
It's too good.
I want to watch Yellowstone. I hear that's really good, and
Yeah, Kevin Costner. I think.
I haven't. I don't have Paramount, and it's on
Oh.
Paramount. And look, I pay for Netflix, I pay for Disney Plus, I pay for Hulu, I pay for
He pays for Game Pass.
yep, I pay
He has
for
Game Pass.
Game Pass. I pay for
Xbox.
no, I do pay for the online for the PlayStation.
Yes.
Um, what's the other one? HBO Max. I pay for. I'm like, I'm not getting another subscription service. It's not happening. I don't care what comes on it. I'm not doing it. Apple TV looks like they have some good shows. I'm not doing it. So I'm not gonna have 15 subscription services and pay $175 a month. And then they get you that way. They're like, oh, it's just $10 here every month, and then you sign up for 9 of them, and next thing you know, you're paying $90 a month for. I like the streaming aspect. It's just like, how many do we gotta have? Everyone's pulling their shows off and forcing it. Yeah. Anyways, rant over. But I do want to get Yellowstone. My buddy actually has he bought the seasons like actual. I know, may some of you young kiddos here may not know the DVDs, but he went out and bought the
Not
seasons of
only
it.
DVDs, VHS. That's the
Oh,
one where you're like, "What?"
yeah, yeah. I'm just kind of joking,
I
but
I was trying to find a VCR because we had VHS tapes
my gosh,
that were home videos.
oh,
And
dude.
when we were still in Fort Worth, I went to all kinds of places, and I went to freaking not flea market, pawn shops, wherever. And I was trying to convert the videos to DVD. So I
Mm,
went to Best Buy, and I'm like, "This is what I'm trying to do." And he was like, "VHS." I'm like, do you not know what I'm talking about? VCR.
oh
He
my
was like,
gosh.
"VCR," and I'm like, "I'm out, dude. I'm
Oh,
out. I am
wow.
out." I'm like, "All I need is a cable that can transfer that from VHS to DVD." And the guy acted like he didn't know what I was talking about. I'm like, "You gotta be kidding me, dude." come on.
Fired on the
Like,
spot.
you have tapes that are recording your security footage. What do you what? Like, I know those are, DV tapes. Those are small tapes, but it's a tape that you record footage off of. They probably have stuff now that are like, hard drives, but still, I'm like, come on now. It's really not that complicated.
It's
Crazy.
not. But I need to borrow that from him so I can watch it. All right, guys. Well, that's this episode. Number 79. Next week will be number 80. Click, like, share. Come watch us up on the YouTube channel. We are live streaming every podcast episode. If you don't want to live stream, you can watch us after on YouTube whenever, or if you would rather listen to podcasts, we are found everywhere. We are found literally everywhere. You can find us on Buzzsprout. You can find us on Google. You can find us on Apple, which is a big one. You can find us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, um, pretty much anywhere you can listen to a podcast, you will find us. It's a sports podcast. We throw a little bit of everything in there, though, gaming and kind of into our lives. And if you ever want to get to know us more, please reach out to us at outspokensportscast@gmail.com. We are on Facebook, Twitter. We are on TikTok. We are on Twitch and Instagram. So we're everywhere. Everywhere you can see our pretty faces or give our 2 cents on sports topics here. And we try and cover the main sports. But that's what
And
the show's
just
about.
comment, like, subscribe, guys. Like, I know a lot of YouTubers are like comment, like, subscribe, but it does help. And
Yeah.
really, when I talk about comment, I just want some kind of, hey, it gives if you have anything to ask, anything to say, throw in the comment section. We'll see it pop up. And then we can interact with you that way, and then come up with a thing we can maybe bring up in the next episode. So it does not only help algorithm wise, but it also helps the show. So
I've been getting
yeah,
more on TikTok, more comments, more fan interaction there. So
yeah.
that's been fantastic. Keep that up, and I'll throw out little videos of topics on TikTok. But this is where we throw out our main topics and where we throw out our main opinions. So if you see a TikTok and you're like, oh, okay, maybe want to hear more, then come over here to the podcast and find us. So,
Alrighty.
but all
Well,
right, guys,
it's
yeah,
been an awesome show.
been a great show. God bless you guys, and let's go football this weekend.
Take care.